PoE 1 players, how are we feeling? I don't have to ask the PoE 2 players because I already know. They're feeling good. I just make that kind of joke because it seems like PoE 1 got their Breach rework league to be the Keepers of the Flame, and that was really good. Everyone said it was a good league. They're like, oh yeah, that's great. And the very next update to a Path of Exile 2 0.5, they said, yeah, that was good. People liked that. We're going to also do the Keepers of the Flame update to the PoE 2 breach. But we're also going to rework Ritual. And we're also going to add a ton of stuff and rework Delirium. And we're also going to add a bunch of stuff and rework Expedition. Hello? Hello? Yeah. So this is a big update. This was actually said by Jonathan Rogers on, like, I think 2 or 3 different interviews that I've watched with him so far that have come out, and also the thumbnail on their YouTube channel for the 4-minute trailer that was at the start of the dev live stream for like all of the features that they're doing. It says the biggest update ever to any of the 2 Path of Exiles. And the crazy thing is, this isn't even the release patch. This isn't even the 1.0. That could end up being larger somehow, because we already know for sure that that is going to have 2 new acts. It is going to have classes and ascendancies. We know this for sure because of a reason that I'm going to explain in another video, probably the video that comes out right after this, probably uploading tomorrow, I would assume. We know that that patch is also going to be huge, and it's going to also have, of course, its own league as well. The first league of full release, Path of Exile 2. I'm sure they're going to go all out for that one. They are taking 8 months. They're taking 2 full patch cycles to work on that bad boy. So it's going to be a doozy, we know. And I would assume that this update 0.5 might actually set the peak. We might actually hit the peak for both Path of Exile 1 and 2, like all-time player numbers. And I would assume that that will actually go up again when 1.0 releases. But let's get into the review of the patch. Actually, I mean, review. I'm going to share my thoughts on everything, but we're going to kind of go over everything that has been added. Return of the Ancients. So this is like kind of like a story beat, but you could like look at this map. You reach the fortress by traversing forsaken maps and unseal its ancient gates. So it's a new endgame quest. I mean, just look at the map details. I mean, we're gonna see this many times, but like the Infinite Atlas map, was I disappointed for like a split second whenever I realized that like, oh, they didn't replace the Infinite Atlas map? But this update kind of made me realize that they can do it right. They just didn't before. How good does this look? And there's so much detail. It looks like some maps are a lot closer together. There's a lot more, there's like different areas. There's like a ritual part of the map. There's like, if you go south, there's the ocean. There are clear tells of like, you explore out into the Atlas and you will immediately start interacting with tons of mechanics, and you can actually specifically target whatever specific mechanic you want to play with. So like there's a ritual area, there's like, if you go south towards the ocean, like I said, there's an expedition area. There's going to be giant cracks, abyss cracks through the Atlas map. Whenever you close them, that's how you, like, whenever you do maps and you clear the maps and then you close the abysses on the actual map, and that's how you fill out your abyss tree in your Atlas passive tree. It's all very cool and very good, and actually adds character to the different points of the map, which actually makes it feel like you're going somewhere. It's like with the map that is currently in the game in 0.4 and previously, it's just like the Infinite Atlas is, it all just looks very samey. Oh, this is a mountain map. Oh, this is a beach map. This is a forest map. Like, okay. But like I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna seek out ritual. And it's like a massive area. There's like clouds and shadows, and you reveal paths, and like the shadows go through a bunch of different maps, which affects them, and you clear out the shadows to get your Atlas passive points. Like it seems like they are going with a lot more story focus. Like you're actually completing a quest line to do these things, which is so much better than what it is currently in the game. So, exploring the fortress. Beyond the walls lies more than meets the eye. The fortress holds many paths and explore new things to find, power up ancient machines, fight new and deadly foes, and discover new depths and uncover dark secrets buried deep within. There's tons of new endgame maps that don't exist currently that are thematic to the different um that are themed. Sorry, I don't know what I was saying. Themed to all the different mechanics that you'll find in the area of the Atlas map where those mechanics are. So that's going to be very fun. Reshaped the Atlas tree. Now, I was actually pretty worried whenever I found out that, like, whenever he first said, so the goal is you can fully complete the Atlas tree. And in my head, I thought, oh, so once again, just like how with the individual Atlas trees for all the different mechanics, one person can kind of just do everything. There is no specialization anymore. Everybody will complete the entire Atlas tree. That is true to an extent, but also there are some nodes in here, the large nodes, where it will be like a multiple choice thing. So not everybody will be the same, but I mean, as long as I don't know how many of these big nodes there are where you have to like choose between the things, but it still is going to feel like samey for everybody. That's why I've always thought that like maybe they should just bring in the Atlas tree from PoE 1. I really like that you can turn off, for example, Abyss, even though I would never do that because Abyss is a goated. You could turn off Abyss and you'll never see Abyss again. But everything else, every other mechanic in the game that you don't have disabled, will have a 2% higher chance of showing up in your maps. So I don't want to interact with Heist. Don't show me anything related to Heist. Sounds good. You turned off Heist. You will not be ever seeing anything like that. And a part of me wishes still that we could do that. Because if I'm in an end game and I see these different like Vol Temple summoning circle things because of the from the Vol League. That's by far my least favorite League mechanic, maybe other than Asmeri Spirits, but they are doing a lot of work to make the Asmeri Spirits better this patch. So we'll see. I think there is going to be a lot more depth and a lot more things you can do with them. So as long as they actually buff maybe the rewards, like the chance of rewards that you get, maybe the chance that you get the talismans from these Asmeri Spirits, they're going to feel a lot better. But other than Asmeri Spirits, Vol Temple, I just don't really care for the mechanic. That's why I didn't play almost at all last patch. I don't remember how far I made it into the end game, but I definitely didn't make it to end game maps or anything like that. Whereas in 0.3, Rise of the Abyssal, oh my god, might be to this date my favorite Path of Exile experience between both of the games. Just playing it. The only thing that was missing truly was Righteous Fire. We'll get to that. But no, yeah. Wow, where did I get to this tangent? Yeah, I kind of wish I could just turn off the Vol Temples because I don't want to be going into these maps and seeing these red summoning circles that like, you try to get them and then you can go into the Vol Temple. Like, I'll just never go into the Vol Temple. So if I could turn off these like red summoning circles that I need to like that pop up in the maps, and then I had a 2% higher chance to get abysses and the rune rocks of like the runes of Kalgur, which is the new league, and more, I guess, Asmeri Spirits would be in there. More, just all the other leagues would have a higher chance, a 2% higher chance of showing up. I kind of wish I could do that. They could still implement that into the individual Atlas tree if you were like, hey, I don't even care to upgrade this Atlas tree, this individual Atlas tree, so you just choose it could just be an option on them. Like, say the Atlas tree starts at this node, and as you go up, it like trees into like the different into like the different points that you can spec into to upgrade your Vol Temple mechanic. But right below the first node is a turn off this mechanic. They could still do it. And that's honestly the thing that I miss the most about the tree being completely combined like it is in PoE 1. That's what I miss the most about it. So if we could just turn off mechanics, I think that'd be better. Also, I think like maybe they're waiting to implement something like that because there aren't a lot of mechanics in the game yet. But as the league mechanics get more and more and more, like in PoE 1, there's like 20 plus different league mechanics in the game. So you almost have to pick and choose. There's no way you can do anything. You can do everything. You just can't. And on top of that, most of the time you're gonna have favorites. You're gonna have things that you just simply don't really care to do that much. So yeah, that's my rant on that. Behold the first edict. So this is the new, it looks like this is the new actual like full on Pinnacle boss. Not a specific mechanic Pinnacle boss, which they've added a ton of those as well. Like a Breach Pinnacle or an Abyss Pinnacle or anything like that. This is similar to the Arbiter of Ash. This is the next guy. All right, so this is the biggest bad in all of Path of Exile 2 from 0.5 on. He can give you the Ordained, the Grand Spear. I don't know what the hell it does. It does some stuff. It's probably pretty damn good, I would hope. The final, the item is good. But yeah, I mean, I assume, I don't really know how it plays, but I hope that this is like one of the best items you can get for, I don't know, that new ascendancy that they added. I think that'd be pretty cool. The one that's Huntress, obviously, because it's a spear. It probably won't, because as long as they don't fix the balance of the gem level skills, like the plus level, this doesn't have any on it. So we'll see. Although they are nerfing those. If you don't know that, this was confirmed in the afterwards interview. It goes up to like +7 level on your gems at the highest right now, I think. I think the highest next time is going to be, or after this patch is going to be 5. So they're taking it off the top and they're going to be spread between all the different like levels of bases. So at like a max level base, like the tier 1 version of that would be +5 levels to your skill gems. But then like the worst would obviously be 1 or 0, but that would just be not getting it. Masters of the Atlas. This is also a pretty cool thing that whenever they said this, I was like, oh, okay. This is where you can kind of differ from other players as well. I just like, because Path of Exile 1 and 2, especially now, there's so much in the game. There's so much different things in the game. So many different ways to customize your character. Every mod you have different from somebody else can differ your play style. Every ability you take different than somebody else. Every ascendancy point you take, every class ascendancy, and every point you allocate within that ascendancy can differ you from someone else. Every point you take on your Atlas tree, every decision that you make that someone else doesn't. There are so many things, individual things in both of these games. There's so much depth that you really can be extremely unique player to player. You can play the same class, the same ascendancy, go the same build, and still be very different, which is why I always really like more things to make you even more different. So here's Masters of the Atlas. There's going to be 3 different guys. It's going to be Jado, Hilda, and Doriani. They're going to be 3 different trees of options that you can have here. And you should be, I think you can switch between them. But yeah, there's 12 options. You can get 3 points per, I would assume. Yeah, I mean, all your maps have an additional revival, Stitch the Flesh. A lot of people are really liking this one. I feel like it's more casual. Like this is definitely a more casual point, because like if you're just more confident in yourself or you believe that your build can handle the challenge, you'd be fine with only one revival because your ego is telling you that you're not going to die. So obviously you'd invest points into other things like 100% increased rarity of items dropped by magic monsters. That is crazy. I think that is crazy. I don't know, but it sounds crazy. So you're probably gonna put that point into like something else. But I feel like a lot of people are actually really liking that, so that they can like have a brewski sit back and not really like think as hard, and not have it be like super scary to go into these maps. Yeah, there's a lot of different options. Very, very cool. Very excited to get into these. New Monk Ascendancy, the Martial Artist. This is what my friend Archive Esoterica is going into, my best friend and podcast partner. We're going to be streaming and playing the game a lot together. At least I'm going to be streaming the gameplay, but we're going to be playing a ton together when 0.5 releases. And this is the class that he would like to go. This is the class right here that I was going to say that I was going to go, but then something kind of changed it. We'll have to see how I feel whenever the actual notes drop and everything, and I actually get to like, I don't know. We'll see if I can get excited for the other thing. I'm just gonna say it. They're basically adding Righteous Fire through a Pinnacle boss unique drop in this game. My only concern is that I'm going to have to play just a regular summoner for like the entire campaign. It's like level 78 is the level to use the unique. So I could buy it from someone at level 78, but if I were to play like solo self-found or anything like that, it would be I have to go into the end game, reach end game mappings, and like fight a Pinnacle boss and take it down before I even get my main build. Who knows how deep I'm going to, like, how much more of the game I'm going to want to play at that point. I mean, if I'm taking down Pinnacle bosses left and right, I'm probably reaching like, the end of my rope. I don't play for 20,000 hours a league. I'm not like a freak like that. And this also isn't my full-time job, so I don't really have time to do that. Usually I get in and I get burnt out at some point after, depending on how good the league is or how much fun I'm having. I feel like this I'd have fun pretty quickly. Like the whole way through, it'd be really fun to have like the stags and the bear and the owl and everything. But yeah, like reaching level 78 and then also having to do like all of ritual up until like its second Pinnacle boss. And that's when I get my actual like ability that I made the whole character to do is crazy. So hopefully they actually add Righteous Fire, because it is mine and so many people's favorite from PoE 2 or from PoE 1. I think that they will, but like my friend said, it comes with the Templar, so it's going to be a minute. Well, I guess it doesn't really come with the Templar. It comes with the gem. But usually Chieftain and Templar do it. I don't know. Maybe they'll add it. I really hope they do. All right. New league, Runes of Aldur. There is so much going on here. Oh, yeah. I didn't even mention with the Huntress Ascendancy, the Spearwalker. You can get like the Stag, Owl, and Bear at the same time. And then while you're doing that, you can get like beast bosses. I'm sure you can get normal beasts, right? But in every clip, it just shows people obviously doing like the coolest thing. You can get the Crowbell as a companion. Like, look at that AoE attack. That's crazy. Crowbell's going to go hard against packs. I'm sure Silverfist is going to go hard against bosses. You can also get like the Chimera boss from like the Trial of Chaos. You can get the Bird boss from the Trial of Chaos, like the, I don't know, Satan bird that rains hellfire and ruins everybody's run. It's so crazy. Like all the different, I cannot believe that. It really feels like they've been outdoing even some of their like the ascendancies that they released the game with some of their new ones, like the sorcerer, like the Jin sorcerer build looked crazy when that came out. What other one did they add recently? I can't remember exactly, but they all look like so much detail, even more detail than like the normal ones, than like the ones that released with the early zero point 0.1 and stuff like that. But anyway, Runes of Aldur. Pharaoh, a seeker of runes from the eastern reaches of Ezomir, has uncovered markings that should have remained buried. Each rune he unearths does more than grant power. It reveals fragments of a forgotten bond between Ezomite tradition and the forbidden craft of Calgarians. With the aid of the King's March crew, delve into relics long entombed, which include ancient treasures, buried truths, and some things left undisturbed. There's going to be these remnants that are around the map. Early game, you're going to have like options like this. Late game, you're going to have options like, like it almost reminds me of like the crafting table in PoE 1, where like at the start, if you try to use the crafting table early game, you're not going to have a lot of options. You're going to have all the really low level mods and everything like that. And then as you go through, you get tons and tons of more like all the different tiers and whatnot, but it doesn't work exactly like that. These are basically, it's like a mechanic that you use to put these different runes together, and depending on which runes you put in there, then you fight things, and it will drop you a certain thing. Like you can see here, if you put a whatever those three symbols are. I don't know if you guys can see my, okay, yeah, you guys can see my mouse. You get an uncut spirit gem level 18 after you defeat the monsters. So it's just a different way to get like different gems, different runes, and there's tons of runes being added with this patch. Also, like Breath of Aldur, Ire of Aldur, Passion of Aldur. I'm not exactly sure what this even is. But yeah, they're just rune shape combinations and things like that that drop different things. Like this, so you can get like greater orbs. I'm sure you can get perfect orbs with like some really rare runes. I'm not exactly even sure how you acquire these runes. I feel like there's so much in this update. They spent a long time talking about how things work and still couldn't really get to the point where it didn't seem still a little bit confusing, because they had to like talk about everything else too, and there's just so much. Here we go. Swift Alloy removes a random modifier and augments a rare item with a guaranteed modifier. So yeah, it removes a random modifier, and then you can add like cast speed onto your gloves, attack speed onto your ring, charges per second onto your belt, or totem placement speed onto your shield or focus. This pretty much the same thing, just different items. This is more like, yeah, just different items, different benefits. You can also upgrade unique items now from from items that were like had good passives but were on low bases, to upgrade them to be on a high base. So it has the same things, but then it goes onto a high base, which means higher tiers of the things. If it had a spell grant skill and it was like level 3 chaos blast, I don't know. Is that even a spell? I was thinking of like the witch wand. I don't know. Chaos pulse. I don't know. But then you'd like put it in there and it'd go up to like level 18 or something like that. It's going to be very, very cool. There's also new Calgarian skills, which are skills that are not locked to a specific color or type or weapon. So anybody is going to be able to use these. It scares me a little bit, only because I feel like if these Calgarian spells are too strong and anybody can use it no matter what their build is, you're going to run into a situation where every single player in the game who even moderately pays attention to like what is strong and what is meta, they're going to all be running the same exact skill or the same exact skills. So you definitely don't want to run into a situation where it's like you have every single player running the same Calgarian skill because it's so broken. And then everybody in PoE, no matter their build, is doing the same shit. You definitely don't want to run into that. It's going to be a little scary, but I trust them to be able to do it. Enhanced expeditions. This is more of the runes that they're adding into the game. Um, in the end game, the existing Expedition League mechanic has been updated to incorporate the new remnants, unlocking advanced crafting inscriptions. But be wary as this empowers the remnants. Empowered remnants grant empowerments the remnants grant make encounter specifically more and challenging, significantly more challenging. Guys, I think I'm having a stroke. I don't know what's happening to me. Um, but yeah, so basically you blow it up. It makes the encounter harder, but you get the reward of being able to use get these special runes if you interact with the expedition mechanic, which it isn't my favorite mechanic. So unless there's something like unless I get into it or something, I'm probably just gonna be like buying these with currency on the shop. We'll see if there's anything that's good for me. All right, exploring uncharted seas. In your expeditions, you'll find logbooks that open the way to a vast ocean to explore, discover new islands marked by expedition sites, uncover hidden secrets, and delve into dungeons in search of powerful runes. So this is going to be if you go south on the Atlas tree, you basically just start rowing a boat around the water. Like the map becomes water. It's just themed that way. And there's different like islands and different maps that you go to that'll be like a massive expedition or something like that, or just a regular map, but like it has an expedition on it. And then you'll find things. You get expedition logbooks. They reveal an ocean biome in the Atlas. There you go. 5 new Calgarian bosses. So there's going to be new bosses, of course, that come with this league. You fight them for things. That's how it works in PoE 2. Yeah, you fight bosses, you get things. All right? Yeah, these are some things that you get. Boom. The Raven and the Hare. So this is going to be the Delirium. Is going to be the Delirium rework. The Delirium, there's changes. You can now see, there's a new progression system that measures how far you descend into the fog. I really, really like the trackers of how far you are into the fog, because you kind of see like where you have to go. It'll kind of show you like how, like where it ends. And it'll give you like, it'll show like these red crystals here. Once you defeat those, that means you've unlocked like the next tier of rewards at the end of the Delirium. Pretty cool. I really just like the visual clarity that they've added. It's really, really nice. If you enter the Distortion, consuming a strange fruit draws a path of frost, a fog across the Atlas. Its shroud thickening with each step forward. In time, this descent gives rise to a simulacrum, a twisted echo of one's memory. To overcome the insanity, earn passage to the Raven's Trickster's domain. So there's improved rewards. You can now do more things with the liquids. There's now potent liquids and concentrated liquids. And not only are liquids used for all the things that they were before, such as instilling, augmenting your jewelry or augmenting your necklace, but now they're also used to put a specific buff onto any kind of jewel. So this one has like 1% maximum fire resistance if you put it on a ruby, 1% cold if you put it on sapphire, lightning if you put it on emerald, chaos if you put it on diamond. So you can now just take a concentrated liquid isolation and click it onto a jewel and it'll craft that modifier onto there. Obviously it'll take up a modifier slot, I would assume. So you can't have 4 modifiers and then that. It would be 4 modifiers including that. But that is really cool. I feel like jewels kind of needed a way to actually, I don't know, every time you're like trying to get a good jewel, you find something with like maybe 1 good thing or 2 good things, or if you're super lucky, 3 good things, and then you just slam it with an exalt and you pray. It's really how it goes. And now there's like more, what's the word? I can't think of the word. You have more decision. Face the madness. So this staff is pretty cool. because this is righteous fire. So yeah, you get the simulacrum, you do the things, you do the things and stuff, and you do the stuff and the things. And then you fight the boss, and the new boss that they're adding, the new Pinnacle boss for Delirium, you will be able to get these unique items. And I'm sure the gloves are cool and all, but everybody's talking about the staff, which is basically a raven looking righteous fire. And instead of like how the righteous fire before drained your like health and did all that jargon, and it was like you buff it with like fire damage, this one is going to be buffed with minion damage because it is going to take away your ability, I believe, to have minions summoned, but all of your minion damage is going to apply to the spiraling conspiracy ability. Wish there was a way that I could like click on it and then like, oh, there we go. A flock of mist ravens circle you, dealing damage over time in an area. These numbers are bolstered by slain foes. Okay, so whenever you kill things, it'll like get wider, or in the presence of dangerous enemies. But the flock as a whole is considered a single minion. You can command some of them to take flight, leaving the flock to assail your enemies. Okay. A raven joins the flock every 1.15 seconds while rare unique enemy is in your presence. A raven joins the flock for every one total power of enemies slain by you or your minions. Mad flight. Okay. Trying to figure out cooldown time. 10 seconds. Can you have this on permanently? I don't see it saying it costs anything, which is really nice. Really, really nice. Anyway, if you've seen it in the game, it's literally just, I don't know, it's because it's considered a minion, so it wouldn't cost anything. It probably costs something to apply it for the first time, but then you have it on. So I hope it doesn't have like a specific duration. I really want it to be exactly like Righteous Fire, if I'm being honest. But I play Righteous Fire every league in PoE 1, so that's why I'm saying that. How do I I think I screwed it up. Guys, it ain't leaving. Okay. All right. What do we got now? Changes. Okay, we did that. Enter the distortion. Okay. Waking the Dreamer on to the Breach. Now, really, people really thought that was a sword because of that cinematic right there. But now there's going to be breach zones, like corrupted zones on your Atlas tree, similar to how there's fog on your Atlas tree, or you can reveal the ocean on your Atlas tree. There's going to be very specific areas where you do specific mechanics to complete that different mechanics Atlas tree, and during the time in that area, you are going to be completing its individual Atlas tree on the Atlas map. So you annihilate the breaches. I really like also how this mechanic, they're adding the bar onto it. Like if you see down below on Ignite the Hiveborn, I think the bar ahead is like how close it is to closing, and the progress bar that's filling up is how many things you're killing of all the things that are summoned. I'm not exactly positive, but I'm pretty sure. They're also adding Genesis tree crafting, which allows you to grow different jewelry or breachstone, whatever the hell that is, or a belt on the Genesis tree. You can put rings on its finger. Guys, I didn't play Keepers of the Flame in PoE 1. Apparently this is something that they've added from PoE 1, that they added in Keepers of the Flame. I really have no idea what the hell any of this is supposed to mean. So I don't really know. But you can like take different nodes, and it's like a whole tree for like specifying what kind of things, like what kind of modifiers and whatnot, and what kind of quality you want from the rings that, or from like the different jewelry that hatches from your Genesis tree. I don't know. It's a bit too complicated for me to even think about right now, because I really have no idea. Okay, Rite of the Nameless. Almost done. Rite of the Nameless. So this is the ritual rework. This is pretty cool. You head into the Wildwood to complete the rituals, resurrect bound monsters, earning tribute, typical ritual stuff. But you can get uniques and omens, making these encounters more rewarding than before. You can get omens before. What did I even say? Using any remaining tributes to fill the meter and gain an audience with the king in the mist. Oh, so you spend the tributes on things that you want, or alternatively, and then you give the rest to like fill up a bar at the bottom. And then after you've donated enough tribute, basically, you get to sit down with the king in the mist, which I assume is going to be the Pinnacle boss, right? I assume in order to get to the king faster, you could just say, I want no rewards, and then just give all of it to the king. I don't know if I would recommend that, but maybe this will cause you to think a little more like, okay, these tributes actually like go somewhere when I'm done with this specific map, with these specific like rituals. So how much do I want to give to the king? Like how close do I want to get to my next fight with him? So yeah, you become the champion. I really don't know what the hell Mage Blood is. People have been talking about it. I have no idea what it is. I think it's from PoE 1. I guess. I have no idea. Um anyways, when you the Rite of the Nameless begins as a ritual encounter swelling in power until the map boss is defeated, leaving behind a fragment of an effigy. Then it bleeds into other maps, with each choice you make compounding the difficulty and rewards. Fight your way through and complete it to face a devastating final trial. So, challenge the darkness. With the Rite of the Nameless brought to its etch in your name, the effigy step forth into the prison where the darkness itself awaits. So that's the Pinnacle boss for sure. And it can drop these thingies. These uniques. All right. So there's over 30 new maps in the end game. It's going to be really badass. A lot of these are either themed to like the different looks of zones or the different mechanics. I really cannot wait to see some of these new maps. I hope that with the like starting from ground zero, designing these maps and building them, they've already thought about how much people kind of don't like that much. The really big maps. Hopefully, these are all like medium to short kind of maps. Just my personal opinion, and many, many others. Um, over 40 new unique items. I really like the shield. I really think it's cool. You like throw the shield and then you can do like slams on it. This is the Righteous Fire. Really, really cool. I like how a lot of the uniques that they're adding are adding new abilities, like holistically unique abilities to the game. It's super neat. Super neat. Introducing challenges. So, this is a PoE 1 thing where it's basically a free skin, a free armor set that you get by simply playing the game and doing different things in the new league. That's it. That's it. Identify 50 unique items. You can do that before the damn I was gonna say before the campaign is over. Maybe not. Depends on how lucky you are. But you can do these. You can do that extremely quick and easy. Earn all 8 ascendancy points by completing the Trials of Ascendancy. Don't you do that anyway? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't everybody do that anyway? I'm sure not everybody does that, but somehow. But I mean, you do that anyway, right? You're gonna get this if you're playing the game. I would imagine. Streamlining the campaign. Campaign has been updated to navigate areas easier. Look out for cues that will guide you forward. I really like that. In the one map, there's like different abyss rifts that lead you towards the Well of Souls, so you can find that and add it to your Atlas map. There's another map that like just straight up adds a signpost that points you in the direction of Ogum Village. There's one where it's like there's like blood trails leading to the Crowbell. There are a flock of ravens or whatever that lead you to, I can't remember what it is, but to like the doorway of your next place that you're supposed to go. Insane quality of life. I really, really enjoy that. I think that if they were going to say, hey, we're not going to make maps smaller, but they do this, I mean, this is gonna make it a lot easier to kinda, like, figure out where I have to go, and you don't dilly-dally nearly as much, and those are just, like, a few of the examples that I shared and that they shared, but it's going to be all throughout the campaign, and of course, they're, like, designing Act 5 and 6 with this in mind. So when those come out, those are also gonna be great. Yeah, really, really like this. I'm honestly fine with maps being larger in size if it kind of like helps lead you where to go. You know, they did this. They said in the afterwards interview that within the Q&A that they kind of made it so that there are there's like that snake boss in Act 2 in that like first area. I think they're gonna make it so that like as you start approaching her area, there's a lot more and more snakes. Now that's just cool. I think like the different thematic, some of them you aren't even gonna be able to like see. It's just gonna be like a feeling thing. Like, oh, there's a lot of snakes here. Holy moly! Oh, it's the snake boss. Oh wow! Oh my god! You know, uh, a lot of a lot of really cool stuff. The build planner. Very excited for this. I am definitely one of those people who would like. So obviously, I check my build. Like, I find a build that I want to go. I look at it. I look at the tree. I start following the tree. Um, I can't remember every single node bro ever took, obviously, and nobody can, right? So, well, I guess some people can. Some people have a photographic memory, but um, like tree nodes, ascendancy points, skill gems, and like the armor slots. You can the build creator can add like notes onto armor slots. You can see all of this directly in the game. It'll be like basically the Mobalytics build page, but slapped right on your game, and it'll highlight the nodes you need to take and everything to follow a build. And this doesn't force you just to take those nodes. You can still experiment, but it'll have them highlighted to say, hey, this is what the creator of the build that you are trying to follow does. This is the suggestion. Um, I'm really excited for that. That means I can like find a build that I like and then like copy the build guide and literally never have to go to a third party website, never have to go to that third party website ever again. So that'll be really nice. I feel like they implemented it in a very similar way that they did what was it Neversink uh, item filters, because you just download the file just like you do with an item filter. You put it in the folder just like you do with an item filter, and then whenever you go into your settings or wherever you activate the item build, I think it's actually in your Atlas tree. You like click a drop down, and boom, it'll be there just like you would a item filter. So it's going to be very, very cool, very, very straightforward, very, very easy. Good implementation. I'm very excited for this. All right, quality of life features. There's additional quality of life improvements, including the Atlas search, market price checker, and the fragment stash tab. So yes, you're not going to need an market price checker anymore. They're actually adding the thing that everybody was asking for. I was asking for it. It's in my Not Another Nitpick videos from the patches before this, where you just kind of like alt click on an item with the market open, and it'll just basically copy and paste that item into the market. And you can like, you can change the values or anything to, if there's like nothing that's exactly like your weapon, right? You can change the values to kind of like make them close. You can edit the item from there and see like what value is everything in every type of this weapon. Yeah, very excited for that. Very excited for the fragment stash tab. They're adding that because they're adding new things that go into it, but also because, I mean, there's a ton of things that didn't really have a place that now are going to have a place. I saw the abyss claws and like I think the bones. There's like a bone. You can put the bones in there from abyss. You can put stuff and things in there, things and stuff, items and whatnots, doodads and doohickeys in there. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I like can't think off the very top of my head, but they were really filling up. Oh, the trials, trials of chaos keys, the trials of Sekima keys, a lot of things, especially those, were super filling up my quad tab. Even a quad tab was being filled up by that quite a bit because I'd played the game a ton, especially in 0.3. I was like, damn, I wish we had a tab for this. Now there's a fragment stash tab, so we have it. The Atlas search is pretty cool. You can just kind of like look for a specific type of area and you'll find it. The rest of the map goes gray, and those ones like light up. Oh, that's kind of what's in the picture right now. So if you look up boss, it looks like he looked up boss. Oh no, I don't know what he looked up because this one doesn't have a boss on it. Oh, you can't see. I was saying this one doesn't have a boss in it. Yeah, but it makes it easy to find specific nodes. What else did they add here? I put it in my notes. Okay, no, we went over everything there. Yeah, the quality of life this patch is crazy because they said additional quality of life improvements, but I really do feel like Build Planner is a quality of life improvement. Streamlining the campaign is a quality of life improvement for sure. Just really, really cool. Really cool stuff. I love it. And yeah, here's a little look-see at the new whatever they're called, bundles, the new supporter packs. I like the one on the right more than the one on the left. I think the one on the left is very zappy. It's very bright and out there. I like the one on the right a bit more. Yeah, that is the video. That is the rundown. Oh my god, 45 minutes just for like the rundown. I tried to make this short. Like the goal was for this to be like a short version of the live stream, and I guess it was, but only half the time, and still 47 minutes. So 47. You get it. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you very much. Maybe I'll try to make it like a super short, like bullet point version of even this video, and I'll post that like next week or some shit. Like I'll give it a little bit of time, but that was the video. Went over everything coming in patch 0.5 that we know of. I'm going to make another video talking about how, well, there's probably going to be some other stuff that we weren't shown. And I have very good reason to believe that based off of Mark himself. Wait, Mark? Jonathan himself and other various devs. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Like it or like it if you like it. And dislike it, don't dislike it. Don't dislike it. But if you dislike it, you can share your opinion. I don't care. All right. Later, guys. Subscribe.